Hey guys, this is George with Firehouse Music, and today I'm here with my former student and soon-to-be Dr. Angus Brooks.
Oh yes. Nice to see all y'all. Glad to be back here at Firehouse with George. It's been a while now.
In a minute, it's been like 3-4 years.
I know, right?
Since we last talked. Yeah. That's awesome. You've been. What have you been up to? Tell me a little bit. Let's catch up.
So since my graduation,
Yes.
of course, just been going to medical school. So on the path to becoming a doctor, and surprisingly, actually been able to put the guitar skills to pretty good use.
That's awesome.
Too many doctors play music, so surprisingly, gotten to actually catch up and jam with them, and
That's
ends
so
up being
cool.
actually a really cool networking
Yes,
way.
so that's really cool. Yeah. So your ability to play has allowed you to network better with your doctor coworkers.
Exactly. Well, also, that too, and then also just being a good stress reliever and a creative outlet. It's a pretty high pressure environment, so it's able to just being able to play guitar and kind of cut loose at the end of the day is pretty fun.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So guys, I met Angus when he was 8, and Angus is now as old as I was when I met him. We just found that out just a little bit ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
Yeah. So that's it's crazy. We started out as our relationship was very much like instructor-student, but over the years we've become friends, and whenever he's in town, he comes and visits me.
Oh yeah.
When you were going to school every summer, you were down here to jam.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a bunch of inside jokes that you probably wouldn't get, so we're not gonna get into them.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, but it's pretty awesome. So let's see what else. I really hadn't prepared an interview or anything like that. I think we'll just talk like we normally do.
Yeah.
So tell me more, what music? So tell me about this. What especially now you're not my student. You don't have any functions to talk about. How was I as an instructor in your estimation? How do you feel? And I know it's a little loaded question.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about your lessons back then? Like thinking like a kid, not like now as an adult, but as a kid. How do you feel about it? And then how do you feel about it now?
Yeah. So definitely back then as a kid, it was a really great way to get started and really just accelerate learning of the guitar. I know a lot of my friends try to teach themselves how to play, and it was just a lot of hitting plateaus that could go on for years. And I think that definitely getting involved with the lessons, especially with you, as a really great teacher. And you really you definitely knew how to kind of customize lessons to each student's needs. And so definitely helping make those plateaus shorten by a significant amount. So it really just becomes more breakthroughs in a quicker way to within, probably 2 years of lessons was more than, my friends who have been playing for 10, 15 years on their own. So
that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's good. So and now, how do you feel, you told me a little bit already, what role music is playing currently in your life, but what value would you put in the lessons that you've received over the years?
Oh man, I would say just amazing value. It's just great to have a life skill in terms of playing music. A lot of people don't really know how to do that, and it's honestly just a really fun thing to be able to, when you meet other musicians, be able to just hang out with them. And just there's tons of friends of mine where I'll just text them on a random day and just be like, hey, you want to play some music? And we'll end up jamming for 3 or 4 hours just because awesome. It's so much fun. So just honestly being able to just have that camaraderie and just kind of, it's a skill that you can kind of keep sharp. It helps keep your brain sharp too. So definitely a lot of different areas in your life it can benefit. So
for sure. Yeah. One of my favorite things, even now, I do this for a living, but one of my favorite things in the whole world is getting together with people and jamming, and people who everybody has a feel, when you play with them, and when you can lock with somebody, and it feels so good.
Oh yeah.
Such a good feeling.
Definitely.
It's a next level of communication. And that's awesome that you're able to find that even in the medical profession. That's great.
Yeah.
Now that you're on the other side of lessons, you took lessons from me for 9 years, 10 years?
I think it was 10 years, yeah.
10 years, yeah. A decade.
Yeah, from 8 to 18.
Decade of your life, man. That's awesome. So how, what kind of advice would you have for somebody that's maybe starting in lessons, or somebody who's struggling through their lessons?
Yeah, so definitely it's the lessons, while they're great, is really kind of a roadmap to what you need to do when you get back home. If you're not, taking time and practicing on your own, you're really not gonna accelerate through as much as you can kind of find yourself in just some ruts in that way. So main advice I'd say probably is just, making sure to practice when you're at home. And even though like it's playing music, I mean, learning first out is pretty frustrating. I can remember that starting out, that it was like so many times it was like I can't do this, but you just gotta kind of keep your head into it and just keep on pushing forward. And that's probably my biggest advice, is that, like, for me, I mean, sometimes it really doesn't start to click all together until you're years into playing, and it's kind of different gradations of that. So I was probably playing for 4 or 5 years before it really started to like completely light bulb into my head of like, oh, this is how everything fits together and makes a lot of sense. So a lot of that's just kind of grinding through the like learning how to technically be a proficient guitarist, and then kind of everything else falls into place after that too.
Yeah, see, like for me, I think when I was learning, the way it worked, it's like I got to a point, I think when I've been playing for maybe a decade, and I was like, okay, I know guitar, I know how to play the guitar. Mm-hmm. And then I started to think a little bit more like a musician, and I realized like, oh man, like, yeah, I have all this technique, but I have no idea what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So then you learn a little bit more, and like, oh, now I got it. Now I really got it. And then 5 years go by, and you're like, okay, now I got it. And you keep learning more and more and more, and everything gets clearer and clearer and clearer. Mm-hmm. The more you learn, if you stick to your studies.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like you're in a plane and finally break through the clouds. Yeah. You're like, oh, I think I can see really far, and then you really have to keep going further up. Yeah.
So what type of because now you've been out of lessons for a while. Mm-hmm. What do you do? Any sort of like self study? How are you continuing? How are you staying sharp?
Yeah. So I mean, usually just trying to practice at some amount every single day, whether that be 10 minutes or 30 minutes or however long I have. But on top of that, just trying to different YouTube videos, just trying to figuring out like if there's areas where I feel like I'm not really like completely have it clicked on, or I've backslid and forgotten a little bit, just trying to get refreshers here and there. So lots of different resources that all over the place, kind of trying to pick and choose and see what works best. But a lot of it's just like looking up different ways to like different practice scales and stuff to run, or different stuff to play over, just to kind of keep it fresh, because monotony can definitely breed just kind of getting into a slog.
Yeah, and then you don't practice because you get bored. I think you should keep your practice fun. Mm-hmm. If you want to continue to practice. Mm-hmm. So Angus, are you subscribed to my channel?
Of course.
Excellent. Okay, so I guess we'll jam a little bit. You wanna do some music?
Sounds good.
Excellent. So that's it, I think, for today. We got I'm sure we'll keep talking and jamming, but we don't have to have everything on video.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So this is Angus, probably like my one of my, I don't want to say oldest, but like one of the longest running students that I've had. I've had a couple that have run for a decade, but I think you and I have managed to maintain a relationship for all these times. So that's always, so I figured I'd bring that to the channel just to show you guys that it goes beyond music. Like music is great, and that's like the channel that's how we get together. Yeah. But it goes beyond that. Angus didn't pursue music as a career. He went I mean, they're doing something that's actually going to make money. But music continues to be a part of his life, and that's all I really want as an instructor, is for my students to continue to have music in their lives and to look back at our time together and smile. So that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions or anything, just send me an email. If you're interested in lessons, my contact information is going to be there in the description on the video, and like and subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys